You want your money? Prove she's alive. Say hi.
Hello?
Baby? We'll come to get you, baby.
Connor.
Candace! Don't you fucking hurt her!
You're fucking pregnant! I'm trying to be nice.
At a local school, panic broke out when an armed gang burst in and took the students hostage. With time running out, Sheriff Alston knew he had to act fast. The pressure grew even stronger when the mayor warned him he'd lose his job if the rescue failed. Captain Mason brought the special forces to the scene, but all the entrances were already locked down. Mason suggested blowing up part of the building, and after a tense moment, Alston agreed. The mission began right away. Among the team were two brothers, Connor and Timmy, known for their skill and reliability. Once everyone received their assignments and the plan was finalized, the squad moved together as one unit. The rescue began the instant the wall was blown open, carried out with perfect coordination. Some hostages were saved in the first wave, but a sudden explosion sent thick smoke through the air, throwing everything into chaos. In the confusion, Timmy accidentally shot a hostage, a tragic mistake that ruined the mission. Inside, the gang became even more violent. One of them pointed his gun at the hostages while Connor stood frozen, unable to do anything. Tension reached its peak when one of the gang members stepped on a mine, and the explosion hurled Connor out of the building. 18 months after the failed mission, he left the Special Forces and became an ordinary police officer. During a routine job, he was assigned to escort a teenager named Joaquin, who had gotten into legal trouble. Things got worse fast when a group of gangsters surrounded them. Joaquin tried to run away, and Connor jumped in to protect him. In the chaos, Connor had to shoot one of the attackers. Realizing the danger wasn't over, he told Joaquin to run. He was right soon after. A gang led by Pettis, a ruthless and powerful crime boss, showed up. Instead of attacking right away, Pettis secretly planned his revenge. At the police station, Connor was called in for questioning. He explained that he only shot to protect Joaquin from the gang, but the officers didn't believe him. They suspected he was hiding something or trying to cover up a big mistake. Things took an even darker turn when Joaquin was found dead. It was soon revealed that Pettis was behind the murder, using it as the first step in his revenge plan. Connor was blamed for everything and had no way to prove his innocence. He was accused of misconduct and officially kicked out of the police force. Meanwhile, Sheriff Alston secretly met with Pettis to make a deal. Pettis wanted police protection for his drug business, while Alston wanted Pettis's help to win votes in the upcoming election. Pettis wasn't just another criminal. He ran a massive drug empire and worked hard to build a powerful public image. In the black community, his influence was strong, making him an important player in local politics. For Alston, getting Pettis' support was crucial to his political goals. Meanwhile, as Connor struggled after losing his job, Pettis approached him with a demand. Pettis ordered Connor to take revenge for the man he had killed and made it clear he wanted results. Connor refused, not wanting to be part of Pettis' crimes. Just when things couldn't get any worse, he received surprising news his wife, Candace, was pregnant. That moment gave Connor new hope and a reason to keep going. Connor focused on taking care of Candace and was determined to turn his life around. But the peace didn't last. While he was out shopping for his wife, he was ambushed. Big O, one of Pettis' men, knocked him out and handcuffed him. This time, Pettis wasn't interested in talking. He used Candace as leverage and gave Connor a clear ultimatum. Connor was forced to steal money and destroy drugs owned by a rival gang in a nearby city. If he failed or refused, Pettis would kill Candace. With no other choice, Connor agreed to do it to protect his wife. But he knew he couldn't handle it alone. He went to his brother Timmy for help, who had also served in the Special Forces. When Connor got to Timmy's house, he was met with complete silence. Timmy refused to open the door. Ever since the failed school rescue, the bond between the brothers had fallen apart. The tension grew until they started fighting. Only after the fight did Timmy let Connor explain what was really going on. As the past came back to haunt them, and old wounds reopened, one painful truth became clear: finding redemption wouldn't be easy, and for some, it might never happen. This is a day to die. At police headquarters, Sheriff Alston held a live press conference in front of reporters and the public, broadcast across several media outlets. Among the crowd was Mason, the former Special Forces captain, there with a very different purpose. Moments later, Mason stepped forward and confronted Alston, suggesting that the rumors about him protecting a drug gang might be true. Alston stayed calm and denied everything. Speaking directly to the cameras, he promised to keep serving the city and to fight every danger, including the drug cartels. Alston's speech was convincing enough to make people doubt the accusation. At Timmy's house, Connor told his brother everything. They talked about the failed school rescue, the mission that broke their team and changed their lives forever. Their conversation was suddenly interrupted by a knock at the door. It was Mason, their former captain, and his arrival immediately changed the mood. Connor told Mason everything about Candace being kidnapped, Pettis' threats, and the dangerous job he was being forced to do. Mason agreed to help right away and decided it was time to bring their old team back together. He started contacting their former teammates, beginning with Dwayne and Ship. Even though they were busy with their own lives, they still felt a sense of duty. One by one, each member agreed to return. By a twist of fate, Candace's kidnapping brought the team back together. Once reunited, Connor went over the plan in detail. They prepared carefully, thinking through every step to stay organized and avoid unnecessary risks. It didn't take long for the group to regain their old teamwork. Their mission was clear: take down Pettis' rival and destroy the drugs hidden at the site. The mission was dangerous, but the team was determined to do whatever it took to bring Candace home. As Pettis' deadline approached, Mason and his team acted fast. They launched their operation during a crowded party, quickly taking control and trapping Danny, the company's director. Under pressure, Danny gave up the location of the drugs and a large stash of money. The team arrived at the site, destroyed the drugs, and took the money to deliver to Pettis as instructed. To erase any evidence, they set the getaway car on fire. But their operation was quickly discovered. Sheriff Alston got the news and immediately suspected Pettis was involved. He confronted Danny for answers, and when Danny told him the truth, Alston began to panic. He realized that if the truth came out, it would expose his connection to the drug ring. To protect himself, Alston killed Danny, silencing the only witness. Still unsure whether Pettis was behind the attack, Alston called him and threatened him. Pettis denied having anything to do with it. He knew exactly who was responsible for the raid, but chose to keep it secret. After the raid, Mason's team met up again and counted the money, planning to use it to free Candace. But the amount wasn't enough to meet Pettis' demand. To make up the difference, Connor offered a stash of drugs they had taken during the mission, hoping it would be enough to finish the deal. The team agreed with his plan. Only Connor and Timmy went to Pettis' base to make the exchange, while the rest of the team stayed behind, ready to step in if things went wrong. With the plan in place, they moved forward, hoping the rescue would work. Meanwhile, at the police station, officials met to discuss the recent raid and the destruction of drugs by an unknown group. They decided to question Danny, thinking he might know what really happened. Alston told everyone that Donnie had died from an overdose, but in truth he had killed him to hide his secret. One officer, already suspicious of Alston's connection to the drug ring, began to question his story. Danny's sudden death only made those doubts stronger. Meanwhile, inside Pettis' compound, Candace saw a chance to escape when he stepped away. Candace tried to escape but was caught by a guard. After that, security around her became even stricter. On the way to Pettis' compound, Timmy asked Connor to stop so he could use the restroom. There, a painful truth came out: Timmy was addicted to drugs and had been secretly using them to deal with the trauma and depression caused by the failed school rescue. At the same time, Mason started a backup plan. He contacted Dwayne and Ship for extra help. Dwayne agreed to join, but Ship stayed behind because his wife, worried for his safety, begged him not to go. Meanwhile, Connor and Timmy reached Pettis's compound and handed over the money. Pettis accepted it, but told his men to count it carefully. When the amount turned out to be short, Connor offered the rest of the drugs to make up the difference. Pettis agreed and brought Candace out safely, showing that he was keeping his word. But just as things started to calm down, a shocking truth came out. Timmy had been secretly working with Pettis, giving him information about Connor to hide his drug addiction and pay off a debt he still owed. Timmy admitted that after the failed rescue, where he accidentally shot a hostage, he turned to drugs. The victim had been a high school teacher whom Pettis greatly admired. Her death filled Pettis with anger, but instead of killing Timmy right away, he decided to wait for the right moment. Big O, however, lost his temper and almost shot Timmy on the spot. As Pettis and Big O started arguing, Connor and Timmy took the chance to fight back. A gunfight erupted, and the brothers managed to take down several of Pettis's men as chaos spread through the compound. Pettis fought back fiercely, but Connor and Timmy managed to escape outside, where the battle became even more intense. At that moment, Mason and Dwayne arrived after taking out the guards outside. They joined the fight, helping Connor and Timmy as they chased Pettis, who was trying to escape. With nowhere left to run, Pettis finally surrendered, but before giving up, he revealed a dark secret. Sheriff Alston had been working with him for years, secretly laundering drug money every 6 months to stay under the radar. Pettis told them that Alston was planning to move the money that very morning and that he had been waiting for the perfect time to act. Fed up with being used, Pettis offered to help the team steal the money and then disappear for good. Mason and the others thought it over and decided to agree. Then Candace spoke up with a plan of her own. She asked her cousin, who was skilled at making fake documents, to create a new identity for her. With little time left, the team got ready for their final mission. The next morning, they launched an attack on the bank. Sheriff Alston and his officers arrived quickly, fully armed and ready to fight. A fierce gun battle broke out, and in the chaos, Dwayne was shot and killed instantly. Dwayne's death hit the team hard, but there was no time to mourn. They had to keep going. The gunfight grew even more intense as Sheriff Alston led his men from the front. Despite the heavy fire, Mason's team kept pushing forward and finally broke into the bank. Inside, they split up to move faster. Connor teamed up with Timmy, while Mason worked with Pettis. Their ammo was almost gone, while the police kept advancing. In the middle of the chaos, Timmy saw a sniper aiming at Connor. Without thinking, he jumped in front of the bullet and was killed instantly. His sacrifice saved Connor's life but left everyone heartbroken. When Mason heard what happened, he froze in shock and dropped his weapon. Outnumbered and with SWAT closing in, the team looked doomed. Suddenly, gunfire came from an unexpected direction, taking down several officers. Ship had arrived just in time, turning the fight around and giving the team a chance to escape. With his help, they ran out of the bank and jumped into the getaway car he had ready. But their victory didn't last long. Just minutes later, Ship was shot and killed. At the scene, Sheriff Alston completely lost control. In a fit of rage, Alston shot and killed one of his own officers. The violent act was caught on people's phones, creating evidence that could finally expose him. Meanwhile, Connor, Mason, and Pettis raced toward the airport, carrying the pain of losing their teammates. But the police were right behind them, quickly closing in. Realizing they wouldn't reach the airport in time, Mason made a decision. He told Connor to stop the car and gave him the plane's access code, his son's name, Jeremy. Then Mason turned back to face the officers alone. He sacrificed himself, taking the bullets so the others could get away. His death gave Connor, Pettis, and Candace enough time to reach the runway and board the waiting plane. 7 months later, Connor, Candace, and Pettis were living quietly in Mexico, beginning a new life. Connor and Candace welcomed their first child, which brought them peace and new meaning. Pettis left his life of crime behind and stayed with them to help build a better future. They also used part of the stolen money for good, sending a large share to Ship's widow to honor his sacrifice. They also made anonymous donations to the families of the school hostage victims, hoping to make up for the pain caused years ago. Back in the city, justice finally caught up with Sheriff Alston. The video of him shooting his own officer was released, causing public outrage and leading to his arrest. As the investigation continued, all of Alston's corrupt actions were brought to light. Years of abuse, lies, and corruption were finally exposed. The city was free at last from its crooked sheriff. Justice didn't arrive in the usual way, but it arrived all the same. And as the story ends, there's one lesson to remember. Never let your brother take a bathroom break during a mission, or he might sell you out to a crime boss and destroy everything.